Good evening to all. Can we start, sir?
Yes, madam, definitely.
Okay, sir.
Just 1 minute. I'll just take one minute.
It's okay, sir.
Okay, so here we go. With your permission, madam, we are starting.
Yes, sir.
So good evening once again. Yes, madam, with your permission, we are starting, ma'am, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. So once again, good evening to all the respected, learned principals, vice principals, headmasters, teachers who are present once again in this particular platform for yet another 1 hour in-service teachers training program on a very, very important topic known as competency-based education. But before I enter into this, I just want to tell you a few things. I think most of you by now know that this year's training, the theme of this year's training program is based on STEM. STEM, the full form of it, it's an acronym. STEM is a mnemonic acronym. The full form is S for science, T for technology, E for engineering, and M for mathematics. Okay, that's how they call it as STEM. Now, is it only based on science? When we talk about mathematics, when we talk about engineering, when we talk about what do you call technology, is it only based on mathematics? Then means or science, or we will be only focusing on science-based subjects and anything like that? Well, to be honest with you, it's not exactly in that particular way. Although some people are thinking it is like that, but it is not in that way. Actually, to be very honest with you, subjects like science, subjects like mathematics, subjects like technology, engineering, these subjects are logic-based subjects, what do we call? Okay. That doesn't mean that the languages are not logic-based. Please don't misunderstand me. Huh? The languages are also equally logic-based. Social science is a part of science, totally logic-based. But keeping in mind logic, keeping in mind the usage of technology, when you talk about technology again, the technical aspects of learning, technical aspects of understanding, when they are put with with a logical tag with it, then definitely things become much more clear and all. So whatever we will learn in this session, I mean this particular session or in this academic session of the various types of training programs, the theme will always be based on STEM. Okay, so we will think logically, we will talk logically, we will discuss everything in a very logic way, using mathematics, using the logic of mathematics, the calculation part, using the logic of technology, how in the best possible way we can use whichever subjects we are talking about, whichever training program we are dealing about. Even if we are dealing a program on, say, a nonsense program, there are also a lot of STEM-based education is needed, and so on and so forth. So obviously, we want to start this session. Once again, I'd like to thank Madam for giving me this unique opportunity. I think within, if I do a few more trainings, I will reach the 50th mark. I will reach the 50th mark of training program for Jamshedpur. So we will start with competency-based education. Now, This word competency, I think uh, most of us, most of us are hearing, most of us got accustomed to it once the NEP 2020 was present into the or placed into the public domain. But that doesn't mean competency-based education was not there before the NEP 2020 came. It was there. Maybe we never looked at it in that particular way, or not that much of discussion was made, or maybe it propaganda, the way it should be spread was not spread in that particular way. So it was not discussed in that way. But right now, after ever since the NEP 2020 is placed in front of us, we are discussing a lot about competency-based education and all. Now, what is this competency-based education? Why it is so important? What benefits we will get out of it? And what are the pros and what are the cons of competency-based education? All these things we will try to understand in this short 1 hour duration. So, fasten your seatbelts, respected teachers, and let us fly into the world of competency-based education. Let's see what we have for us today. Okay, what we will see today, these are the following things we will see today. We will see the definition of competency-based education, which is very, very important. Different people talk about competency-based education in different ways. We'll try to come up with the definition that exactly needs to be known to all of us. We will definitely have an introduction on how to introduce competency-based education in our day-to-day life, in our day-to-day schooling life, better to say, how we will introduce it with our students, how they will face us. We will see the principles. A lot of principles are associated, lot of rules, regulations, lot of systems are associated in order to properly implement competency-based education. Because you all have heard about competency-based questions are coming in board examination, competency-based thinking. So how we are going to implement them, how we are going to use them, that's also very important. Definitely we'll see the pros and the cons of competency-based education. What are the plus points associated with it? Definitely there are some negative points will also be there, as you know, as the nature of law goes it in this way. Thank you, Aisa ma'am. The nature of law goes in this way. What years and decades and decades and decades, centuries ago, Isaac Newton has said that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So it is not only physics, it is the logic that says that, yes. So definitely there will be some negative points also that we also need to know so that we can avoid them in the best possible way. And of course, we'll come to a conclusion of it, that how to use it. Okay. So here we go with the definition. Let's see what we have in the definition. Okay, definition of competency-based education. In basic terms, first I will read it, then I will explain it. Okay. In basic terms, competency-based education means that instead of focusing on grades and yearly curriculum schedules, the main focus is placed on how competent each student is in the subject. There cannot be a more simple definition than this. See, the theme or the very essence of NEP 2020 is not to make the student just pass the examination, but to use their learning qualities, to use their diagnostic tools by the teachers on the learning qualities, so that whatever students learn, they retain it for the rest of their life. The learning from the school should not only be limited. I am repeating it, the learning from the school should not only be limited to passing examinations, getting a great certificate or something like that, and that is when it ends. No, never. It's not like that. But the focus should be on how to become competent, how to become now competent with the subject. Now, when you talk about competent, obviously the word confident comes over here. Competent, confident, conceptual, all these are interlinked with one another. So the first thing that the teachers have to do is to use the learning part. I'm talking about use the learning part. So there's no question of teaching and all these things. Let's forget about all those things. Use the learning system so that The students get the concept of what they are learning. Once the concept is known, then what will happen? The students will have a confidence within themselves that, okay, this is how a generator works. This is how the parliament of the country works. And I'm very confident if anybody asks me, I will, because he has got a complete concept of the parliament, the members, the system, how it works, when it starts, when it ends. Or in the other hand, suppose if we are talking about the functioning of the human heart, how the human heart beats, how the blood is taken in, how the blood is allowed to go out. These things, the concept of these things have to be very clear. If the concepts are clear, the confidence level of the student increases, and when the confidence level of the student increases, the student become competent enough. He or she become so much confident, and that they get a competent quality. They can compete with that particular learning at any given point of time to solve any problem. This is what competent based education is. And therefore, in order to get this, one needs to go deep into the matter. Superficial learning will never give that confidence level to the children. They will always be fumbling. That is why concept will automatically lead to get into the level of confidence, and confidence will take them to become competent enough students for the subject. So this is what is competence based education. Let us go with this. So it's no question of focusing on grades and yearly. Forget about all those things, they will be there superficially. More important is to convert our students into competent based students. Okay, next, let us see what we have again. Ah, so let us introduce. I'm introducing this competency-based education to you. Competency-based education and personalized learning go hand in hand. Competency-based education and when you talk about personalized learning, it means the interest on which the student gets that learning. It's again not a question of passing the examination or getting a certificate. Something that one wants to get with the knowledge, with the idea. Okay, like some students have an inherent quality of learning something that will make them happy, that will make them use that learning for their day-to-day activities, not just to pass examination. That is what is known as hand-in-hand learning. The learning that I love to learn, the learning that I want to get within myself, which automatically will put me into that knowledge arena where I will be carrying it for the rest of my life. Complete total idea with facts and figures on a particular matter. That is personalized learning. So competency based education is almost, it goes hand to hand with personalized learning. But by personalizing the learning experience of each individual, student teachers ensure that each student has full mastery before they can move forward. Yes, respected teachers, study a particular thing, get complete idea about it, make it fall in love with that learning part, and become a complete master of that particular area. Then move to the advanced level and to the further advanced level, and so on and so forth. This is what is competency based education. Complete knowledge, complete idea, everything there. Competency-based education gives a clear focus on preparing students for the next stage of their life, whether be it in college or career or wherever. As just now I told you that one part is finished, one level is finished, we'll go to the next advanced level and to the next advanced level. Like if you look back, if we just reflect our the way of teaching that we do in our schools, you will find that from class 3 onwards, we are teaching the students, say, let us be a science man always, no, the science will always come into my mind. We start with say the EVS part we are teaching the students. We are talking about biotic factors, abiotic factors. Biotic means one that has coming out from living organisms, abiotic, one which doesn't come out from living organisms. So this living part gets join. By the time the child goes to class 5, they learn more about it. By the time the child comes to class 7, again an advanced level of study about the living things comes, and so on and so forth. And by the time he comes to class 10, he gets a complete idea about it. So competency based education gives a clear focus to the students. Okay, from one stage to another stage and then to the another stage. In this way, it goes on and on. So let us see it once again. Competency based education and personalized learning really go hand in hand. Personalized learning is something that we need to dwell into the minds of our children. We have to make them fall in love with it. And it can only happen if we ourselves is giving 200% than what we are supposed to give. And that learning experience of the teacher, the student will ensure that the student has full mastery before he moves to the next one. And that clear focus should always be there, which will be used in the other levels of study. Okay, let's go a little forward and let's see what else we have. Ah, competency-based education mastery framework. In this, the way I'm talking, the way we all talk about competency-based education, it's not so easy the way we talk. It needs lot of planning, lot of dedication, lot of hard work, lot of hours will be lost also. Lot of learning hours get lost also. Just 1 minute, I'll take a phone call. Hello. Yes. For the So in order to get the complete idea about competency-based education, at what level it should be done, with what are the different aspects of it, what are the different teaching learning materials we should be using, how we will utilize time in a proper way. In order to all these things, we need, if you want, you can take a screenshot of this particular page. It's a very, very, very important page as far as competency based education, because here we are making the framework, the basis of all. Like we have no this what you call national curriculum framework. So this is CBE mastery framework. In order to master the art of learning, master the art of getting into that particular subject, we need to know this framework. So first of all, the first thing, for whenever we make something, we are making a framework. So first we have to make the culture or structure of it. The basic structure should be, the backbone has to be made. So what are the things that we need for competency-based education mastery framework? The first of all, the structure. The structure, in the structure, what are the subpoints we need to have? We need to have assessment system. A very special type of assessment system we have to develop, we have to create, we have to make, by the help of which we can assess the students and we can understand that yes, they are moving towards the competency based learning. And competency based learning assessment is no ordinary assessment. A lot of what I will say, lot of innovations are to be applied over here in order to make an assessment system that will really shake up the brain of the students and make them do something in a different way. So first is the assessment system. Next is the seat time. Seat time means, in the classroom we have seats. How much time the teacher and the student both are giving in order to make sure that the learning starts and the learning works on. Then learning management system. Learning management system over here means management of time, management of the topic, management of the framework that we are creating, how to manage it in a proper way so that we can inculcate the matter that we want to put into the child's mind, and how the child will also utilize it in the best possible way to make sure that that confidence level of learning develops, which will automatically lead to the competency based learning. Scheduling, timing, planning, very important. Without planning, we cannot do anything. Standards and define competencies. We have to make some benchmarks. At this particular level, if the student reaches, then only he or she is competent enough to know the subject, understand the subject, keep the subject with them, and use it for their further uses. So we have to make some benchmarks. And who will create these benchmarks? We teachers have to create, because it is said that the teachers have special insights and foresights. The teachers can measure exactly how much to be given to a particular student If we give excess, it will become toxic for the brain. If we give less, it will become deficient for the brain. So here comes the job of like that of a pharmacist who knows exactly what will be the dosage of the medicine so that it will have a curing effect. Same way over there, what will be the dosage of learning so it will have the competent effect on the student. So that needs to be taken care of very, very, very delicately. We have to do this work. Professional development. Teachers need to be trained time to time. Then only they will understand what is needed and what is not needed. So professional development of teachers should be there, or the masters and all. And of course, we should have an excellent physical infrastructure. Maybe we should have good libraries. We should have good communication systems. Of course, learned teachers with up-to-date knowledge on the subjects. Uh, the school, the laboratories, the computer labs, the science lab, all this comes under the infrastructure. If the infrastructure is proper, then we will be able to implement the matter to the student in the best possible way. And if that happens, then competency-based learning is bound to happen. So this is what we call as the first round of our understanding or our working with competency-based learning, the structure of the school should have all these things to make the thing happen. Next is the culture. You know, culture is what? The behavior, the pattern, the way we interact with each other, the way we take things, the way we destroy things, everything comes under culture. So first of all, the institutional mission should be there. We all have a mission. Schools have visions and missions. Mission over here means what? As you all know very well, Mr. Miss, okay, you have targeted, you have focused on something, and you need to make sure that you remain in focused with this. And your mission is accomplished. You have decided that I will start with the students from class 7, and by the time they go to class 10, they should be confident, they should be confident enough with mathematics. They should be confident enough with physics, because if they're confident, obviously they will be able, they are actually doing competency-based learning or education is going on. Knowledgeable staff. Well, staff needs to be knowledgeable. Good quality development should be there. Now, again, I will not say, see, a person scoring 95% throughout his life may not become a very good teacher. And a person who is only in his 50s or 60s can turn out to have, we have seen like this. So, but the knowledge that the person develops with the passage of time, with his teaching qualities, with his total learning from different sources, that makes him much more admirable. So staff should be knowledgeable. Culture of innovation. The schools should be centers of innovation, because in today's world, if you are not innovative, respected teachers, you don't have a chance in the school. Somebody else will take your place. We say no, that we have to take a pill. Productive, you have to be productive in a P for productive, I for innovation, L for learning, and another L for let learning. So more and more learning has to be there. And when learning is there, when staff are knowledgeable, when people think in a different way, thinking for the betterment of the children from the core of their heart, then obviously some sort of culture will develop. So culture of the school, there should be a mission, staff should be knowledgeable, engage parents and families. Now in this work, we alone cannot do it. NEP is time and again mentioning that bring the parents into the forefront, bring the community into the forefront, because with the help of community we can do lot many wonderful things. Lot many good things can happen within the school. There used to be a time when we hardly used to think about who are the people who are in our surrounding who can be helpful for the schools, but nowadays things are changing. We say no, if within the vicinity of the school, if we have educated people, if we have intellectuals, if we have specialists, okay, then we can call them into our schools. And at the same time, we should also bring the parents into the forefront, their families. If a particular student's father is a very good scientist, we should utilize his expertise for the betterment of our school. There should not be any form of ego feeling that no, 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 we will not call them. Why should we them? Why should an outsider come in the school and spoil the system? No, nobody will spoil the system. An educated person, a good person, a learned person, an intellectual will never ever spoil the system. In fact, they will do a little extra to make sure that the system enhances. So that we have to keep it in mind. Engage stakeholders, each and every person who is involved in this development, in this creation of this framework of competency based should be engaged. They should not waste time. Effective communication. For any system, for any system to be successful, for any system to become to reach a broader in a broader scale with a broad spectrum reach, there we need very clear-cut communications. That's an effective, result-oriented communication should be there with the staff members, with the teachers, with the students, with the parents, with the other stakeholders, with the intellectuals of the school, with the school management, so that there will be a seamless flow of communication and the work or the mission will be accomplished. Because if somewhere down the right line, if there is miscommunication, if the communicating system has failed, or if it is not effective enough, always fumbling here and there and here, then the system will not go forward. So we need to have a very good, very effective everywhere, in any type of work you do. In your family also, if you just go for a little bit of marketing with your family members, if the communication system is not perfect, you'll not be able to have a successful marking day in the school, in the shopping mall or something like that. Culture of relevance. The culture of it should be relevant enough, clear cut with ideas, with facts, with figures. There should be a relevance to everything. We are not here to build castles in the air. Okay, no ifs, no buts. All those things will not work too much. That is why we are talking about STEM-based education. Next comes the teaching part, which is the most important one. Teachers as facilitators and coaches, they should always take themselves as facilitators and coaches. We are now facilitators of education. If we take it in that way, that no, we are the masters and we are the academicians, and whatever we will tell, they have to listen, system will not work. System will simply not work. We have to ask what the students require, what they need, what is their need, what are the processes, strategies that they want to us to create so that their learning will be more effective and more reliable for them, which will help them to retain the learning within their own selves. So that is why we are facilitators, we are coaches. We provide what they find is best. Personalized learning. At the same time, when once the teachers have to be the coaches and but same time there should be personalized learning from the teachers' side also. They should personally develop themselves with time to time. Tools and resources for teaching should always be available. Without that, we cannot move. Content expertise. The teacher should be an expert in this. We call about content expertise means what? The content, the part, the matter that the teacher wants to teach them. He should be an expert in that. Then only it will be there. Curriculum designing that. Just again back to that position of student centered education. But designing the curriculum will be designed in such a way that it should be completely student oriented. What they need, what is their demand, what will they ask, and they will get. So what they want to get. Sorry, they will not get. Sorry, they want to get to make sure that their learning becomes perfect. Kanchan Kumari has raised her hand. We'll talk about it later, ma'am. Let's finish it off. We'll talk about it later. And assessment design. Design the assessment in such a way that whatever you want to get, you get out of it. Okay, fine. And of course, the learning, that should also be there. If structure is there, the culture is there, teaching, then learning. How students should learn. Student ownership of learning. These these four words, they speak volumes about learning. Students' ownership of learning. When students will learn, no, they will feel that this learning is for them. That is their own learning. They have to carry for the rest of their life. Ownershipness. Just if you have a car, you feel that this is your car. You are the owner of that car. You have to maintain it. You have to keep it in the perfect condition. If there is a slight bit of hitting here and there with the car, how you feel, that type of feeling has to come. That this is my learning, this is my subject, this will make me place in future life. And little bit of misunderstanding here and there, or if the knowledge is not very clear, or the ideas are not that much clear, a little bit here and there, that will have a very negative impact on the child. So that should not be there. That will have a different feeling. The emotion will be at stake in that particular condition if the student's ownership to learning is not there. So we need the student to understand the ownership of their learning. Students' voice, students should have a voice. Autonomy should always be there with the student. In a classroom, respected teachers, this has been discussed time and again. In a classroom, if autonomy is not there for the students, learning will never take place. You take it today, I'm telling it, it is not only, I'm not that much of a great person to tell all these things, but whatever I have seen from my life, whatever you people have seen from your life, you all are great teachers over there. If autonomy of the students is not given, if students don't have a voice, no learning will never take place. We must listen to the children. We must not only listen to their demands, but what are their requests also, what they want to tell us. And some of the questions of the students or some of the information that we get may sometimes make us feel like something very stupid. But no, there is a rationale behind it. That's why the culture of relevance should always be there. There is a rationale behind what the student is asking. Maybe why this particular thing has come into his or her mind, that we need to analyze it. That critical thinking has to be applied by the teachers also over here. So that is why let us listen to our students. We must also allow them to talk. They should not be suppressed. If they are suppressed, things will not work. Lead learner. Create lead learners from here. The learning should be lead from the front, have some sort of a leadership quality, and learning anytime, anywhere. And learn anything that they will see. This competency-based learning, the greatness of this is that anything that they want to learn, anywhere, anytime, will definitely make them understand, okay, this is related to this is related to that. So that is what is competency-based learning. So this is a mastery framework. If I know it is very difficult to have all these things in one go, it needs practice, and more practice. So let us practice them. I'll request all of you, take a picture of this and keep it in your classroom or in your diary or somewhere. So time and again, you can just go through it and it will definitely help you to create the framework for your students. Okay, let's go a little bit forward. Let's see. Now we will see the principles of competency-based learning. What are the principles on the basis of what competency-based learning moves, goes forward and happens with the children? Now, first it is said that equity is set before all else. The equity is set. The equity does not mean giving each student the same thing as everyone. Now, sometimes when we talk about equity, obviously the first thing that will come into our mind is that everybody should be given equal test or equal learning. But no, it's not like that exactly. Equity does not mean giving each student the same thing as everyone else. Instead, it means giving each student what they need to reach the same end goal. Beautiful line. Equity means we will give them what exactly they need. Say for in a classroom, you have Ravi, Rayan, Ria, Reshma. Now, Reshma needs something by the help of which she will learn and reach her goal. Rayan needs something by the help of which he will. So let us provide all those ingredients to them. So that is what we said is equity. It should be set and their way of understanding. It's a difficult task. Respected teachers, I'm telling you, competency-based education is not so easy as it seems. If we really follow the rules and the guidelines, then definitely. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Okay. We need to dive deep into the matter, make our hands dirty and come out. Then only we'll be successful. Then only our students will reach. Otherwise, so that is why think for each child. Each individual child has to be taken into consideration. And we are to understand what they need and how they will reach their goals. Okay, so first of all, equity is to be set before anything. Give everyone what they need to reach their goal. Competency based education, again, the further classes emphasize measurable competencies that help to build skills for the life. Now, teachers should emphasize more on measurable competency. Measurable, in the beginning, I told you, a teacher is just like a pharmacist. The teacher, with his or her insight and foresight, knows exactly how much my student will be able to take. That is why the teaching, the measurement of learning qualities that will be put into the student's mind should be very, very meticulously planned so that they don't become toxic in nature, neither they become deficient in nature. If they become toxic in nature, then obviously the student will not be able to take it. And if they become deficient, then the student will find it very, very boring. So emphasize on the competencies that will help to build the skills, to measure them in the right way. Competencies must be defined in advance and set as learning objectives for each student. Now we have to tell the students, see, look, today we will be talking about the corrosiveness of sulfuric acid. Let us take a chemistry part. Okay. We will discuss about the corrosive quality of sulfuric acid. How sulfuric acid has achieved that corrosive quality. What is that corrosive? How it can damage, destroy wherever it will come in contact. So once we have to tell them, we have to make the answer. So you have to know about sulfuric acid. You have to know about its structure. You have to know about its function. You have to know about its reactions with following other substances. It will tell us how that corrosiveness of sulfuric acid works. So that has to be defined in advance, and we'll keep it as a learning. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Arti, ma'am. We have to make them that these are the competency levels. You must understand it. You must know it, and then it will help us to get the learning objectives of the students. Rather than just testing of head knowledge, competencies focus on practical understanding that the student has for the subject. Yes, just taking a test. Okay, we make a few questions on the subject matter that we have taught. We'll take a test, and on the basis of that test, we'll come to a conclusion that okay, this is the competency level of the student. That's not the process. That is just again that typical mug and jug type learning. Over here, when you talk, competency focuses on practical understanding. Why the generator moves in the why the generator walks in this way? The AC generator. That they must know. Why the heart beats like this? Or why each and every nephron of the kidney works in this particular way to absorb blood and at the same time to absorb from the blood to absorb the unwanted substances, and how the wanted substance again, this needs to be discussed, talked, and practically we have to show them. Even in English literature, if we are teaching them something on words or sentences or matters, our way of telling them it practically will make them feel that why this word is like this and how it will be used in the sentence. Like say, for example, I'm taking a very simple word in English, fire. Fire. Fire का मतलब क्या? आग. Now, if the teacher in the class just teacher, there was fire in the room, it will have no effect on the student. There was fire in the room. Again, it will become a mug and jug table. But if the teacher, with her expressions, with her body movements, with her body language, there was a fire in the room. Everything got destroyed and damaged because of that intensity of the fire. Each and every word, each and every action of the student, of the teacher will make the student then get total competency idea, competency-based education of fire and how the effects of fire. So it has to work in this particular way. सिर्फ हम आंख बोलेंगे तो नहीं होगा. वो डायलॉग आप लोगों ने बेटे तो से मोनोलॉग आप लोगों ने सुने होंगे. कोई एक लंबा व्यक्ति जो स्क्रीन में खड़े होकर बोले थे, हम जहां खड़े होते हैं लाइन वहीं से शुरू होता है. तो भाई बात में वजन होना चाहिए, दम होना चाहिए. तो उस वैसा टीचर का टीचिंग स्टाइल में भी वजन होना चाहिए, दम होना चाहिए, तब जाके बच्चे का ये कॉम्पिटेंसेस तैयार हो जाए. That's why in the previous slide we have seen what the teaching qualities should be there with the teachers. Okay, so classes should emphasize on the competencies that build the skill तैयार हो जाएगा. बोलने का अंदाज, लिखने का अंदाज. Somebody is showing a thumbs down. So I think that particular person is not coming in terms with us. Okay, that is also required. Principles of will move forward. Yeah, it is still going on. Oh my goodness. क्यों सिंगे? काहे thumbs down? हाँ, अच्छा नहीं लगा क्या? चलिए ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं. Everybody has their own way of telling things. Okay. Next is transparency helps students take ownership. We're talking about ownership. Ownership means it is my learning. It is my understanding. It will help me to go forward. So transparency needs to be maintained. Clear-cut ideas. No ifs, buts. There. Transparency helps students take ownership. Learning should be clear-cut. Learning should be through and through. Learning should be understanding. What is the end goal of each student in a particular class? We should try to know that. The answer to this question should only be available to the teachers. It should not be only available to the goal of the students is just to pass the examination. No, not only to pass the examination, but to have that knowledge and carry it for the rest of their life. The learning objective that are set for class and the school as a whole should be clear to both the students and the parents also. So a transparency should be, wherever there is transparency, success is bound to come over there. And wherever we go on hiding things, you will spend so much time on hiding and cover-ups that when the time will go away, you will never understand. So whatever is that's why we have syllabus and we have all these things. Why we have all these things? Because the learning objective should be very clear. The CBSE has given us the syllabus, the textbooks, the systems. Why? Some sort of a transparency should be there, so that parents should also know. And why do we give information to the parents every day? Initially, in our times, we used to have diaries. Nowadays, as the time has passed, the diaries have been replaced by the special educational apps. And through the app, every day we give information to the parents because we have to maintain that transparency. We have to maintain the transparency, and wherever transparency is there, learning objectives is bound to happen. So another principle of competency-based education is transparency will help the students to take ownership of their learning. Principles of competency-based education, further moving forward, students get the support they need individually. They should get the support they need individually. Okay, this is where the teacher availability comes into picture. In a competency-based education environment, students should have a framework to understand how long they should work on a problem before asking for help. So first of all, we should give them freedom. Let them move around. Let them do the things. Let them understand the things. And they should also know that at what level they should now come to ask for the help from the teachers. They should work on a problem before asking for help. Okay, and when in class they can approach the teacher. One thing I want to add up over here. See how beautiful is it. See, this is the quality of learned people. This is the quality of people with experience. And that's why we always keep them at high. The people, those experts who have made the NEP, those policymakers, or one thing the national this curriculum frameworks have come. Now we talk about the children, we talk about the foundation stage of the children where we said that it will be a totally activity-based learning. Let's just leave the children and watch them what they are doing. Why are you doing all this thing? Why we are leaving the student? We in the Bal Bhatika, what you are not supposed to teach too many things. You are just supposed to watch what the child is doing with a little bit of numeracy and literacy. We will do. But more often is that we will let the child, because let the child be free over there and let the child do the things and let the child ask questions. And when the child will find that he or she has come to a bumper or something like that, difficult to cross. The same principle goes to the upper classes also. Autonomy, freedom. Why these things are given? Let them first do their own self and then take the help of the teachers when they will find. But because the teacher is an expert over there. So students should get the support. So this is how it is linked, many parents are क्या नया सिस्टम बना दिया सर आप लोग बोलते हैं क्लास 2 तक एग्जाम नहीं होगा। अरे एग्जाम नहीं होगा तो उसका पीछे कुछ कारण है। जो जो पॉलिसी बना है वो तो बेवकूफ तो नहीं है ना। So this is how the system will turn. You know, in the foundation stage, that's why we are calling it as foundation. In the foundation stage, if we are able to make the student confident enough with their problems, okay, and how to solve them. When they'll go to higher classes, they will become more confident. This type of education we need in the country today. Pass fail is a different story altogether nowadays. So the time they should get, and they should get the support also. Let's move a little forward again. Teachers assess for growth and mastery. Another principle of competency-based is that teachers should assess for growth and mastery. Assessment come in many shapes and sizes, different types of assessment. Hmm. So teachers, yes, we are going forward. Teachers assess for growth and mastery. Assessment come in many shapes and sizes. You can do. Somebody asked transparency, how far? As far as you can do it, sir. I think that was the question. Assessment comes in many shapes and sizes. Here are three types of assessment that are especially useful for competency-based education. See, you teachers are masters of your subject. You know your students, you know your environment, you know your school, you know your system, you know the mission and the vision of. So you know what type of assessment you should do to find out the best out of your students. Thank you, Juma ma'am. So assessment come in many shapes and sizes. So three were formative assessments, the very common one that we'll do. Authentic assessments. Assessment should be authentic. If you need this thing, then only you go for that type of give an assignment where you think that by giving that assignment, you can assess that student exactly what you need. So it should be very, very authentic. Formatives are the general ones that we go for. And of course, digital content assessment with the passage of time, as time is moving forward, as we are going to the advanced world, definitely, we need the digital content. We need technology. That's why STEM-based education we are talking about. Digital content assessment. Make the assessment in such a way that if you are using technology, use it in the best possible so that more and more relevant answers can come out from the students. Students move forward when they demonstrate mastery. It is directly linked. Yes, directly proportional. Students move forward and they demonstrate mastery. Yes, if they are confident, if their competency level has reached that much, where they can solve any problem, they will definitely move forward. There's no looking back. By building regular assessments and database progress reporting, teachers understand where each individual student is in the learning process. Yes, today's world, today's education is a complete data-based education. You have to maintain each and every data of your student. We have to create rubrics. A lot of discussion we have about rubrics. So we'll be discussing about rubrics and all. So rubrics you have to create, data you have to create, you have to put the data with you, digitalize them in the best possible, so that from that data you can understand how your student is progressing, where he is reporting, and where he is going forward. Because we are going for this, what you call competency based education. We have to make them confident enough with their work. Obviously, some of the competency based, some of the parts of competency based education is that first of all, there should be critical thinking. If critical thinking is not there, then competency based education will never be achieved, because the student needs to think rationally. The student has to be given the autonomy to ask questions, to put on their thinking caps, and not to go for judgments. Personalized learning should go hand to hand. That ownership of learning, that feeling of learning, real acha. It should be cost effective. Too much of money should not be used. Improved compliance. More and more compliance should be improved. Students should get success out of it. The curriculum needs to be this thing customized as per the need of the student. And real world job skills, real world job. What is exactly needed? That type of skills, or those types of skills are needed to be taken into consideration. Then only competency-based education will get justice. Otherwise, it will just remain like another mugging and jugging of rote learning, and it will end up somewhere over there. So we need to have this open world for critical thinking, whatsoever learning should go, it should be cost effective, it should not be too much costly, and improve compliance time to time. It should go on, and the student should get success, they should feel happy. The student, if they get success, they will feel happy. Curriculum needs to be categorized according to their ways, and of course, real world job skills should be developed. NEP 2020 talks about jobs, about creating employment, and about work. Let's go. Now, pros of competency-based education that we need. I told you in the beginning that we should have, so we talk about some of that. There must be certain some good points are also there and some negative points. We need to know them so that we can minimize the negative points as much as possible. Flexibility of all types of students, no matter their knowledge or backgrounds or literacy level, there should be flexibility, there should be freedom. We should not be rigid. Because if we are rigid, we will not move forward. If and then the very essence of learning will not take place. Bias is removed. These are the pros. These are the positive points. Where bias needs to be removed and equity is to be achieved. We are talking about equity. Students are better prepared with skills necessary to succeed as adults. Okay, so we need to prepare them so that when they will become adults, they will be able to become more successful. Students learn how to be better learners and take responsibility of their education. Yes, these are the pros of competency-based education. I'll talk once again. Flexibility for all types of students, no matter their knowledge, background, or literacy, whatever they're coming from, wherever they're coming from, we should be flexible with their understanding. Bias to be removed in order to achieve equity. Okay, give exactly what is needed to whom. Students are better prepared with the skills necessary to succeed as adults. Okay, so we can prepare them in such a way that when they will become adults, they will become very successful, and they should know how to be better learners. That needs to be created and take the responsibility of their education. What are the cons? Key competencies must be determined and defined for each class, which is difficult. These are some of the things because when we want to go for key competency levels, it is in the beginning. I told you that okay, we will give students their different goals, their what they need to do, and that is something that is difficult. Okay, so key competencies, the competencies that you want to give, you have to determine for each class, each student, which is a difficult task. It needs a lot of it's. I'll say it is difficult it is difficult, but it's not that it cannot be achieved. Assessment must be more meaningful and creative that we have to take care of. Otherwise, the very essence of learning will not be there. Teachers must be constantly aware of student progress. Yes, yes, yes. This is something that you have to keep it in mind. Constantly you have to hear how much they are progressing, how much you have to keep the data with you, right? You have to make your rubrics over there, and thus be ready to jump in and help a student who doesn't understand and or isn't on track to graduate at 18. There is something called graduate at 18. It's a term that in the first very chance students should become graduates and learners. So we have to be always on our toes. We have to keep a strict vigil on everything to know that okay, where they are progressing, how much they are progressing, and on the basis of that, their learning will go on. Okay, right. A little more we have. What are the five elements of competency education definition? What are the five elements? The thing is, students advance upon demonstrated mastery. Yes, they will advance, they will grow and develop once they become master of their subject. Competencies include explicit, measurable, transferable learning objectives. Measurable, you know how much to take, how much to be given, how much to be shared, and that will empower the students to learn. Assessment is meaningful and have a positive learning experience. Assessment should be there, should be there, should be there. Students receive timely and differentiated support. Students should get support time and again. Student gets support, should get support time and again, okay, in different ways and means to make sure that they reach that level of competency. Okay, students develop and apply a broad set of skills and dispositions. Okay, they should apply once they learn it. Okay, now the learning goes in a broader spectrum, we have to say. So they will apply a broad set of skills and disposition so that they can solve problems by using. Their learning will be not limited to 1 or 2 points, but their learning can spread to 100 different points and in different ways and means they will. And that is how the question papers are also being made so that the students can answer them in different ways. That's what we are getting, what you call as today's competency-based questions. And the conclusion is this: the competency-based education allows students to advance based on their ability to master a skill or competency at their own pace, regardless of the environment. Okay, so that the thing that we have to keep it in mind is that if you want to really go with competency-based education, then we must allow students to advance, to move forward based on their ability, how much they are able to move forward, how much quality, how much they will become master of the skill and or competency and they should be given the freedom to move according to their pace, according to their time, not according to your ways and my ways. Of course, some sort of limitation should also be there. This method is tailored to meet different learning abilities and can lead to more efficient student outcomes. See, respected teachers, you know why today the Scandinavian education is discussed that much, why is today the Chinese education is discussed that much, or the Taiwan and the Japanese education, because they have kept one thing in mind, that we are more concerned about the learning outcomes and how these learning outcomes can be utilized in day-to-day activities. For that, we will tailor make the curriculum. Let us tailor make the curriculum to meet the different abilities of the student, different levels of students' understanding, and that's how it will become more efficient, and that will let the nation develop and move forward. So competency-based education is something that is really on the go. Competency-based education is something that we have to move in. We have to give it to our children. We have to make them confident enough. And we have to talk to them about what are the things they need. They should have a complete concept, and then only they will become intellectuals in life. Thank you, respected teachers. Thank you very much for being with me for this 60 minutes or so. I hope we have got some idea about competency-based education. It's a vast subject. It's not possible that one day, maybe sometime later, we will have a session on how to make competency-based questions and all these things. And keeping in mind with STEM education, I will request Madam, if again she gives me a chance, we will have active education. Next part of our training program, I want to tell you, or I want to do with you all of, is active learning. There are 30 to 35 different strategies are there of active learning. We can do it in one part or two parts so that we can understand how we can do active learning in classes. So that will, I'll request Madam second time, the next time we'll come out with active learning, which is of course a part of competency-based learning, which is a part of this STEM theme of our learning. Okay. So thank you very much. And now, if you have any questions, any queries, you are most welcome to ask me, and I'll try to answer it. Okay, respected teachers. So here we go. If you have any question, if you have any queries, please feel free to ask so that we can discuss a little bit. And thank you for those beautiful messages that you are sending. Uh, that really gives me the impetus to move forward. How many of we are having today? 1965 attendees. My goodness. 1965, 1960 now, 5 people have left. Okay. The session has ended, so maybe they will be living for that. Okay, thank you very much, Gautam sir. Thank you, Anil Kumar sir. Thank you so much for that beautiful message. If anybody else has any, if you have any question, or else, of course, attendance is mandatory. Otherwise, how will you get your certificate? Somebody wrote, is attendance mandatory? It is mandatory. Without attendance, you will not get your certificate, and there will be deficiency in your trainings also. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Sujata madam. Thank you so much. Veena madam, thank you. Prakash sir, thank you. Kailas Mandal sir, thank you. Thank you. Ramjo Jaita Sen madam, thank you. Okay, sir, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, ma'am. Deepu Kumar sir, thank you so much. Anju Tirki madam, thank you. Okay, thank you so much. So I think nobody has any questions. Otherwise, they would have definitely asked. Okay, ma'am, if you give me permission, can I now remove myself from the platform? If you give me permission, can I remove myself from the platform right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, and wish you all
Thank you, sir.
a nice weekend. Take care of yourself, take care of your health, make sure that you don't be absent in your schools because your teachers need you every day. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, sir.